Hello, hello. Welcome back to Breezyville. My name is Breezy. And if you're new here, hit that like button or bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. Today we're going to talk about some things that just make sense if you lived in Sweetwater, Alabama. Now, most of y'all know I'm from little towns all over rural Alabama. I'm proud of that, being a small town girl, and I think being raised in rural Alabama helped shape me to the person I am today. Usually when people ask me where I'm from, I'm like rural Alabama, the further off the interstate you can get. And they always look at me and goes like, "Well, how'd you end up here in Murfreesboro in Nashville?" I'm like, "Story for a different day." But I always just basically say, "Grew up in Alabama my whole life, so I really wanted to get out." And I did. I'm so thankful I did. Because once you get stuck in those towns, you don't really get out. And I hate saying that, but I'm so grateful to grow up in a small town at the same time. Kind of a complicated situation. Anyway, but here are some things that just makes so much sense, okay? There was an old mill that didn't run, but it was part of the town's history, rural Alabama. Like, I remember because it was like used to be part of the town's history. It didn't run, but I think it's still there, honestly. But you can't tear it down because at this point it's a national landmark. There was more than one way to go to Thomasville, Alabama. You could literally go three or four or five different ways. So there's this dogwood tree road that you could take a road trip through just because. And it was one of my favorite things to especially like when the leaves would fall at a certain time. Like some days I dream about that road and want to go back and just visit it. Um, Being part of the Black Belt is identity. Like you're from Sweetwater, Alabama if they said the Black Belt. So let's keep that in mind. Um, Something else. The old GoCo lady knew your family. And here's the thing, Sweetwater is a very much a small town. So let's put that out there, okay? Ow, my knee. I don't even think I actually know the name of that gas station actually. We all just call it the GoCo. Um and there was at one point the lady who when you went in there she was like, "Oh, how's Louise and Bobby doing?" Or something like that. So it's like they knew. They knew who you were. Um, and they knew you were on which kids were on their best behavior, which kids weren't. Um, Speaking of the Go Coach, this also just makes sense. Ow. The GoCo is a staple of rural Alabama small town. Every town has that one gas station that they all go to. The GoCo happened to be that one. Is this still there, or have they changed? I'm pretty sure they've changed ownerships of it by now. I think it was a Citgo actually. I don't remember though. But another thing that just makes sense, there were so many churches in the same area, and there was often, this next one correlates, churches in the middle of nowhere. Like, backwoods country folks, people. Don't you just love us? Um, let's see. Um, Something else that makes sense, we all had a high school. We had one high school that had all the grades in it. Another thing that makes sense, if it was really an emergency, you could go to Grove Hill or Thomasville. Again, not recommended. So, but it was an option. But if it was really an emergency, they would send you to Mobile, Alabama, because Mobile is like an hour and a half away. The nearest hospital was Grove Hill or Thomasville. Again, don't recommend it. Just don't. I was born in Grove Hill, so I know that for a fact. But Thomasville, do not recommend it at all. Go if you truly have to, and you just can't make it to Mobile, honestly. Um, the nearest major city is Mobile, Alabama, which, for those of you who don't know, Mobile is the home of the original Mardi Gras, and it was a strong standpoint in the Civil War. Um, Also, something that just made sense in Sweetwater, Alabama, going to Thomasville was considered going into town. Like, it was the nearest town for us. Now, here, however, the nearest towns were Dixon Mills, Linden, and Thomasville. And something else that just makes sense is that Dixon Mills was a good measure of how far you were from Thomasville and Sweetwater. So, if that tells you anything. And then, This last fun thing that just made sense. A beach trip with you can make it a beach trip in a day. You could. You could go early that morning and come back later that night. Everyone be passed out. It's a perfect drive. All right, that is it for this episode. I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day.